my life is getting up real early in the morning, especially when it's not too cold, and going for a walk in the quarter. Each hour in these early hours has its own flavor, its own unique energy. Before dawn in the Jewish quarter, 5 o'clock, I slip out the door, past cats patrolling the silent alleys, past the kitten slinking under a closed gate, past the square whose trees shelter sleeping birds, through tunnels and arches where echoes now slumber, down the steps to see the morning star above the Mount of Olives, more brilliant than a scepter's gem. I stretch out my hand to touch the silence, delicate as a lace curtain dawn will brush aside. And onto dawn at the Western Wall. Dawn breaks over the Western Wall. On the ledges, pigeons that slept as motionless as the ancient stones now stretch their wings. Sparrows land from nearby trees and hop at my feet. A flock of swifts flies west, towards the pale moon still high after night's retreat. Above my head, glide a pair of white luminescent wings. And angels, a dove. At the Western Wall, when night and light embrace, maybe more than birds meander through the sky. Sometimes the slight creak of my shutter when a pigeon alights on it, together with the sun's first rays, awakes me. To a pigeon at dawn. Your coos awake me. You perch lightly outside my window and your landing makes the shutter creak. Then with a whish of wings, you're gone. Are you the pigeon pecking bread near the Western Wall, or the one on the ledge of the wall eyeing those below? Are you the pigeon who once nested on my kitchen sill? Or are you a descendant of the pigeon who nested in the oak that lent its shade to Sarah's tent? When I was at the Kotel one Shabbat Rosh Chodesh morning, the following poem emerged. At the Western Wall, I do not see her face. She stands leaning against the Western Wall, modestly clad from head to heel. Is she beseeching God or arguing with him? As she turns to leave, her sari slips back from her hair. Sometimes people ask me what my main source of inspiration is, and as you can see from these Jerusalem poems, it's my everyday experience. The following poem took place one Friday afternoon when I was on my way to Jaffa Gate to spend Shabbat with family in Bnei Brak. I immediately wrote the poem in my little notebook while on the bus to the central bus station. And it's not the only poem that I've written on a bus, or while waiting for one. A taste of coexistence. The shopping cart is far too heavy for me to heave up the old city's cobbled steps. Can you help me, please? I ask a young woman in spiked heels and hijab. The two of us, both with covered head, carry the cart up the stone steps. A glimpse of Eden. I'll close with a poem I wrote between Yom Yerushalayim and Shavuot about 2 years ago, when the attack at Merkaz Arad was still seething in our minds. I, Jerusalem. I hear music on my streets every weekday and on nights when our children rejoice. I hear the wails of a grandmother whose world has crumbled away. I smell fresh mint and Nachne Yehuda in the old city market, cinnamon and myrrh. I smell acrid remains of bodies from attacks in a yeshiva, in a mall, in buses and cafes. I see prophecy fulfilled as my children return and crowds stream through my streets before dawn. I see my children butchered and maimed and speeding ambulances after each terror attack. I taste honeyed baklava and sweet sachleb, pomegranates, figs and dates. I taste the guilt of those who survive, the subtle flavor of their prayers. I touch those who hunger for inspiration and all who seek eternity within my gates. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you for listening. There are order forms. I have order forms.